Hi, my name is Ben Yankee with Syngenta Agronomy Research. And today we'll be talking about potassium and fungicide and their impact on corn yield and stalk quality. To start off with, let's look at some of the visual symptoms of potassium deficiency. You can see a really good picture of this here on the right with those chlorotic or necrotic, the yellow or dead region along the leaf edge is a really good sign of potassium deficiency. It's important to note that potassium is really limited in mobility in the soil. So we're depending on corn roots to actually bump into it, to intercept it, to get potassium into the plant. Some of the symptoms that cause potassium deficiency include drought or saturated soil, any sort of soil compaction issues, low soil temperature, or root insect feeding. Again, it's limiting that root mass and reducing the area we have to get that potassium into the plant. When we look at potassium's role inside the plant, and especially in stalk strength, potassium is highly mobile inside the plant. And so when the plant senses a deficiency in potassium, it can take it from those lower leaves, those older leaves, and reallocate it to newer growth. What that can lead to is weaker stalks and lodging, taking it from those older growth and reallocating it to that newer growth. When it comes to disease susceptibility, genetic resistance is really important because an application of fertilizer can rarely cure or eliminate a disease. So what we see is the benefit of potassium in combination of all the nutrients and the environment is more of a factor in disease susceptibility. Look at our 2020 fungicide and potassium trial we did. We chose 4 hybrids per location, 2 with a good stalk strength and 2 with a weaker stalk strength. Our treatments were just a standard check, a side dress application of Nature's K Fuel for 40 pounds of total potassium. So we did 14 pounds at planting, followed by 16 pounds at side dress around V3. You can see a picture of one of those applications there off to the right. The third treatment was an R1 fungicide of Mirabis Neo, and the fourth treatment was a combination of fungicide at R1 and that side dress potassium application. Our hybrid sets at different locations, we chose different hybrids adapted to those maturities. So you can see the sets there at 3 hybrid sets at each of the locations. They're listed there. Off to the right, it's important to note our soil test results. So by location, you can see that soil test levels were either high or very high. Another important factor to note was precipitation for 2020. You can see off to the far right there, the 20-year average precipitation for each one of those locations, and the column just next to that, what we actually got. So some of those rainfall amounts were almost half of what is typical of a normal year. So it played an impact there. What we saw for fungicide and potassium response was that 1 out of 6 sites we had a small response to additional potassium. So remember, we had high to very high soil potassium levels across all of our sites. So probably not surprising there. 4 of the 6 sites we saw a response to fungicide ranging from either 3 bushel to about 18 bushel. Fungicide also improved our late season stalk integrity at 2 of 4 of the sites where we saw a yield response to fungicide. And here you can see some of the responses by hybrid at fungicide across all of our locations where we did see yield difference. When it comes to what fungicide and potassium what benefit we saw to stalk quality, we used artificial lodging to compare standability of hybrids with and without a fungicide application. So this was pretty simple. At harvest time, took our hand at the ear leaf and just pushed horizontally and counted the number of broken stalks we observed. And so here you can see a response to fungicide in regards to stalk lodging. So the green bars here are no fungicide application. The blue bars are the plots where we treated with fungicide. For most all of these, we can see a reduction in lodging with the fungicide application. Notable here in the graph on the left there, NK1239 actually did not. We saw a little bit more lodging with that one. So just goes to show you there is a difference when it comes to hybrid in response to stalk lodging. So our key takeaways here, in our trials, fungicide application increased yields and decreased lodging. We did not observe a response to additional K, but remember, our soil test levels this year were high to very high. So normally you would expect a response when K is more limiting. Yield and stalk quality was not improved beyond fungicide response when we added more potassium. Potassium uptake can still be limited in soils with adequate potassium levels where root development is restricted. Most importantly, soil conditions, compaction issues, moisture, pH, and a balance of soil fertility levels all contribute to plant stalk strength and disease development.